9 days after my husband Daniel's funeral, I sat alone in our penthouse office staring at a mountain of financial documents. There were no tears left. Grief had ended the moment I uncovered what he had truly left behind. For 22 years, I believed Daniel and I were partners in every sense. Together, we built an empire worth millions. I founded Hartwell Global Shipping, one of the largest freight companies on the East Coast. Daniel managed a smaller sister company, Blue Harbor Logistics. Or at least, that's what I thought. He always insisted on keeping our companies legally separate. He said diversification protected us. I trusted him completely. But now, flipping through his company ledgers, I discovered something horrifying. Blue Harbor wasn't just struggling. It was drowning. Millions in debt. Unpaid tax obligations. Loans hidden behind shell corporations. Vendor lawsuits. Everything was collapsing. And somehow, I had never seen it coming. Looking back, the signs were there. Late-night phone calls he never explained. Sudden emergency business trips. Private accounts I was never allowed to access. But trust can blind you. You stop questioning the strange patterns because accepting the truth feels impossible. Daniel had spent years constructing a second life. And I had unknowingly financed all of it. Then the doorbell rang. I glanced at the security monitor. A black SUV parked outside. A woman stepped out first. Early 40s. Confident. Too confident. But it wasn't her that froze my blood. It was the teenage girl walking beside her. 17 years old. And she had Daniel's face. His exact eyes. His smile. It was like staring at a younger female version of the man I buried a week ago. I opened the door before they knocked. The woman smiled politely. "Hello. My name is Vanessa." She stepped inside like she belonged there. No hesitation. No sympathy. No respect for the fact that I had just buried my husband. She carried a thick leather binder under her arm. We sat in the living room. Without saying a word, Vanessa opened the binder and pushed the contents toward me. Wedding photographs. Old family vacations. School records. Birthday cards signed by Daniel. Bank statements. A life I never knew existed. While I worked 16-hour days expanding our company across the country, Daniel was raising another daughter 3 states away. Then she began speaking. She explained that my marriage to Daniel had been nothing more than a financial arrangement. She claimed he stayed with me only because my company funded his lifestyle. According to her, she was his real family. His true love. She expected me to cry. Instead, I calmly reviewed every document. Because in that moment, this stopped being heartbreak and became a business negotiation. I stood up. The best corporate litigation lawyer in New York. Pull every financial record Daniel ever touched. The investigation started immediately. And what Richard discovered changed everything. Vanessa had one goal. The investments. The business shares. Vanessa and Daniel had never legally married. The ceremony photo she showed me? Fake commitment ceremony. No legal registration. Meaning she had 0 legal rights. DNA confirmed Daniel was the father. So she changed strategy. 3 days later, social media turned vicious. I became the villain overnight. Reporters camped outside my headquarters. Vanessa painted herself as a struggling single mother. An innocent woman abandoned by a cruel corporate wife. It was brilliant manipulation. Most people would panic. Pay quietly. Avoid bad publicity. But Vanessa made one fatal mistake. She underestimated me. I didn't respond publicly. No interviews. No statements. Instead, I ordered a complete forensic audit of Daniel's company. Every contract. Every debt. Every hidden liability. And what we found was devastating. Blue Harbor Logistics wasn't worth millions. It was functionally dead. Over $6 million in unpaid obligations. Massive tax fraud investigations pending. Commercial lawsuits. Defaulted bank loans. The company was already collapsing. But then, Richard found something even bigger. Inside Daniel's private downtown office sat a hidden biometric safe. I knew the override code. It was my birthday. Inside sat a sealed envelope labeled Final Authorization File. I opened it and stared in disbelief. For days before his death, Daniel had transferred $2.3 million. The final liquid cash reserves of Blue Harbor. The destination account? Not Vanessa. Not Lily. Not anyone from his secret family. The money sat inside a protected private trust account. Under my name. Daniel knew bankruptcy was coming. He had emptied the company completely, leaving Vanessa nothing but a collapsing corporation drowning in debt. That was the truth. He never loved her either. She wasn't his future. She was simply another illusion. A backup life. And now, she believed she was about to inherit a fortune. The probate hearing arrived 1 week later. The courthouse was packed. Reporters everywhere. Vanessa stood confidently beside her attorney, smiling for cameras. Certain victory was hers. Her lawyer immediately demanded transfer of Daniel's controlling company shares. The judge looked toward me. Everyone expected resistance. A fight. A dramatic objection. Instead, I stood calmly, walked directly to Vanessa's table, and signed the transfer papers immediately. Complete ownership of Blue Harbor Logistics. Free of charge. The courtroom fell silent. Vanessa smiled triumphantly. Her attorney grinned. Victory. Or so they thought. Then his assistant started reading the attached financial disclosures. Her face changed instantly. Eyes widened. She whispered urgently. The attorney grabbed the paperwork. And suddenly, all color vanished from his face. He went completely pale. His hands started shaking. Because hidden inside the transfer agreement was something they ignored. By legally accepting ownership, Vanessa assumed all corporate liabilities attached to Blue Harbor. $6 million of debt. Tax fraud investigations. Defaulted commercial contracts. Pending lawsuits. Everything. The company wasn't an inheritance. It was a financial time bomb. And now, it belonged entirely to her. She screamed in the courtroom. Her lawyer began panicking. But it was too late. The signatures were final. Irrevocable. Across town, within 48 hours, Blue Harbor entered forced liquidation. Banks seized assets. Creditors attacked immediately. Vanessa's dream of wealth turned into instant financial ruin. Her public sympathy campaign disappeared overnight. The media narrative collapsed. But one person remained innocent. Lily. She had done nothing wrong. So before leaving court, I quietly instructed Richard to create an anonymous education trust. Enough money for university, housing, a future protected from her mother forever. Vanessa would never touch a dollar. Weeks later, I stood alone in my office watching the city lights flicker below. For months I thought revenge meant destroying those who betrayed you. But I finally learned something deeper. True power isn't fighting louder. It's stepping away from the broken system others built around your trust. I didn't ruin them. I simply stopped being the foundation holding up their lies. And the moment I stepped away, everything they built collapsed on its own.